Recording this video after close trade Wednesday, 7th of August 2013. Well, exciting couple of days in the market, and I managed to blow up my computer. Video chip went on the logic board, which turned out to be a very expensive repair. Anyway, you probably know I trade on a Apple MacBook Pro 17-inch laptop, and that barely made it 18 months before pretty severe fault. So I don't know, I do run my machines pretty hard. I'm in two minds whether I think that's kind of okay or not. But at the end of the day, cost of doing business. And what a couple of days to go down. Monday was boring as hell, but Tuesday was very good trading, and Wednesday was good trading. I actually traded last night, but it was a little bit rushed to kind of get everything together in order to do that. Anyway, where are we? Because it's interesting times. I'm going to run through kind of a little bit of a recap of what I was saying the other day on the other charts, because they've all kind of, the multi-market charts, they've all kind of started to move. So here we are. We're now happily below 1700, 1688, about 1.2 million contracts traded. That was Monday. It was just unbelievably light volume. But the last 2 days have been fairly decent volume, which has been good for trading. But this is what I'm looking at. I said on the weekends on the multi-market video when it came out, I said a break of the yen is important, and so we got it. So here we go. We're up at 1.0368. This is on the futures contract, so you have to reverse everything and multiply by 100 if you're kind of used to the other way around. But anyway, so we put in this first bullish divergence and the flush. Exhaustion pattern, which was an amateur down bar here, and we're racing back. Breaking above this daily resistance levels means we're probably going to go into an uptrend here. This will be a short covering rally. All the stops, the trailing stops kind of in here. We bust a whole bunch when we did this. Potentially people are still holding out for the yen to go lower, so if this kind of gets a little bit of energy, that's important. And this is why it's important, because it's this carry trade thing. So here we go. This is the oscillator that I use on the bond market as well, the yen versus the equities market, and you can see we've gone through the zero line here. So all of a sudden, this is going to take some energy out of the equities, the risk type markets, because the yen trade, the carry trade, will start to reverse. And we've almost got the break on the euro. You can see here I was talking about 33, 34 being kind of critical levels up here. It's resistance on weekly and daily, and the last blue professional bars are holding, and we're kind of breaking here. It's pretty slow going. That's a real congestion area there for the last week and a half. But the pound did start to blow yesterday. So this is Mark Carney with comments about I don't know what he's calling this, GDP targeting or something, some newfangled thing that all of a sudden makes everything fantastic, and the Bank of England will be able to save the UK economy. Anyway, luckily all the emails I get from everybody who subscribes to Emini-Watch kind of thinks the same thing as I do about, or at least the people that email me think the same thing I do about quantitative easing in the central bank. So I feel as if I'm talking to friends. Aussie put in the pullback to end of trend, flush pattern down here, and had a little bit of a bounce. I'm happy with that because I made a little bit on a little currency thing I was doing myself, so that was a good kind of signal to come in there. So because all these currencies are starting to bounce a little bit, we've got the dollar index kind of falling, and we fell through support here. So this is potentially important, falling into a downtrend on the daily chart on dollar index. So there we go. That was all the currencies, and so it's the unwind of the carry trade that's the most important thing to take away. The other thing that I said on the multi-markets kind of video was this bond market bottoming out and starting to reverse is important as well. So this is 30-year bonds. Blue professional bars come in at that end of trend signal. Weak selling going on here. It's the amateurs have got involved way too late here with kind of Rambo patterns at the bottom, cyclical support on the weekly chart, and the bonds could start to strengthen as well. And again, looking at the oscillator, this is the bond oscillator on the bond chart. So you got the equities market here with SPY and TLT with the bond market here, and we're coming down to the zero line here and about to cross it. So again, same type thing. We've had this run into the equities market since October last year, and out of the bond market, and that could just start to flip, where people start to just move money backwards and forwards from the equities, take profits into the bonds, and the bonds start to strengthen. So the markets that haven't popped, silver here, is looking at that blue professional bar. It was a bit of a long-legged bar down here, so there's certainly someone kind of buying in down there at the lows, but it didn't pop, and gold is looking a little bit weaker than that. So it's not happened yet on the gold and silver trade, but definitely happened on the forex contracts, and the bond markets starting to find support. So what does that mean? It means that potentially equities are going to go even further on the way down. So we've had this incredibly weak rally all the way back up, rainbow patterns at the top here, and there's the bearish divergence coming there. Extremely weak in terms of buying when you look at all the blow-off move into this 1680 the first time we kind of came into it, and the first rush for the doors and the back up here. No one's buying. So 40,500 tip bar chart, it is not over on the downside. Pretty convinced about that because we haven't had exhaustion selling on the downside. We've got a nice little bounce today which kind of finished off yesterday's move, but I don't think that's it. So you can see we're kind of back playing around the support level that we initially broke through on the 40,500 tip bar chart. So that could turn, support could turn into resistance as we kind of roll over. We've had exhaustion buying on the upside here. We've not seen exhaustion selling on the downside. I know the last couple of times we've been into this kind of lows, yeah, we have had exhaustion selling on the downside, but it's not been really terrific. I just wonder if this is going to gather steam as we kind of go forward. And the trend oscillators are still rolled over here. So we've had a couple of goes at this. This whole sequence, this whole cluster ended up being a losing trade because you know, we continued higher. And then on this little cluster of buy signals here, they kind of worked out break even pretty much over this last sequence here. And you can see here now we've got a whole cluster of sell signals are in. Trend oscillators at 0, heading on the way down. So it's got to get to oversold, I'd have thought, before this kind of market starts to roll around. So I'd look for continued weakness over the next couple of days. And in terms of trading today, well, it was nice. So exhaustion buying, bearish divergence comes in at the end of yesterday, or kind of mid-morning yesterday. And blue professional bars and rainbow patterns, we can't get through there. Overnight, we broke through support here, just showing the weakness. So we broke out of that kind of congestion zone that we've been in into a downtrend here. And then when the open started, we had all these blue professional bars just before the open, and the market started to accelerate on the downside. But didn't want to go there, not just yet. The professionals wanted a better entry than that, and so we started to reverse around and come back into that pivot point there. At about 68, 69, blue professional bars come in, exhaustion kind of comes in. Everybody, you know, kind of jumped on board thinking, wow, it's actually bottomed, we're going up today. No, that was the professionals. You can see a professional up bar. First of all, kind of getting short on the way up. They had resting sell orders ready on the way there. Our bearish divergence kind of comes in, and then we've got a blue professional bar on the way down. It looks kind of like it's an up close, but it's kind of, I'd look at that as almost like a U-turn. So it's like they're getting short with resting sell orders on the way up, and then they're chasing it on the way down, expecting this move to accelerate on the downside. And there we go, that was the best move of the day. So initially I was short at 86.75, but as soon as it started to reverse and go the other way, got out of that trade, just a quarter point loss. And then when this came in, got short at 87.75. And rode this down for 4 points. It went a little bit longer than that. It went to 81s down here. So there's a little bit more in it, but frankly I was a little bit rattled after my computer went down, so just took my 4 points out of that and was done for the day. And then the market kind of bottomed after that exhaustion selling bullish divergence kind of comes in. We didn't have many blue professional bars this time. We got one this time here, and then it wasn't a pullback to end of trend because we broke this support level, but it did come back to test again with blue professional bars and very weak selling at that point. Then the market kind of just spent the rest of the day kind of edging higher. So not a bad day's trading, but I missed the day before, which would have been really fun, and I still think we've got some moves on the downside. So there we go. I'm still getting my feet under my desk because a lot of my settings and stuff on the computer have been reset or whatever. I'm actually going to do a little bit of a video on cloud computing because it wasn't a total disaster for me. You know, the computer being you know, in the shop for 48 hours was tough, or just under 48 hours was pretty tough. But what I was able to kind of do some things. The biggest problem I have is that TradeStation, you know, sits on a machine rather than in the cloud. Anyway, hope your trading is going well, and look for another video from me shortly. Short 87.75, 87.75. Check my stops and targets. And the reason getting short here, we just had a breakdown of we're going to make a pullback to end of trend on 500, broken through support here. It's because we've had exhaustion, bearish divergence on 1500. So this move on the way down is not over because we've had exhaustion buying, bearish divergence end of yesterday, rolling over, and we haven't had exhaustion selling on the downside. All this was a short covering rally. Everybody was getting short, but no blue professional bars picking it up at the bottom. That wasn't the end of it, so we come back up. Exhaustion buying, bearish divergence coming on 1500. There's the exhaustion pattern rolling over, and so bam, that was the blue bar, kind of almost like a U-turn getting going. There we were getting shorts up here, so might have jumped in a fraction early. I was anticipating that break there was just going to keep going. But we maybe just got to run out this clock, pull back to dirty end of trend on 500. So here we go, back down. Let's keep going. 85.25 is the previous low, is like the low overnight. So that's what we've got to get through. Here we go. All right, let's hold on. All right, here we go. Much of amateur bars, kind of rainbow patterns here, but we're in a downtrend below support 500, so we've got to run pullback to end of trend. And no blue thrust bars, kind of picking it up at the low. So here we go, heading towards 85.25. Hopefully it's minus 7,000. So this was, what was this readings? Yeah, it's about 7,000 as well. But come on, this will roll over on the 4,500 probably. So just right, here we go. Now we're at 85.25, which is overnight and lows where we bounced early. But the market doesn't like 1, 2, 3, 4 touches. That is going to go through. So exhaustion selling, getting this thing going. It's not going to end until we get at least bullish divergence. Here we go. We're through. Target sitting 375, and we travel quite a long ways. So I'll just leave it there for the time being. We've got 9,000 on better momentum, so a lot of selling at the moment. Just out 83.75, just for 4. And quarter point loss on the first short trade, but that's fine. So 3 3/4, 2 trades, and it was 8:58 AM. It's better. Good to be back after the travails of the last 48 hours. Anyway, yeah, it's midnight here, Sydney time, so just going to watch it for a while, see where we go.